Hello there, how are you doing? Everything is going exactly to plan. It's not looking good! The World Cup begins in a day, and the start of the World Cup has gone exactly how you probably thought it was going to go down. Now, if you haven't seen my video 2 days ago about just the recent update about the World Cup, in terms of these paid fans that are going to the World Cup, which I do feel like is not completely accurate personally. There could be some truth in it, but I think it's minimal. The entire world is watching Qatar right now, and the entire world is watching it hoping that there's a disaster. This is the World Cup that what happens on the pitch may not even be the main talking point. Now, I do hope, as a football fan, that the football does have some importance at some stage, because the World Cup starts tomorrow, and all I'm hearing is non-stop disaster classes here. Let's start off with the first one. And of course, for a World Cup video, this has been sponsored by the best replica football shirt sponsor on the market. Of course, 365 Kit Shirt, sponsor of the channel for the last couple of months, which I get a lot of my shirts from. And here today, of course, they've sent us the current Brazil home shirt for the tournament, including also Neymar on the back with all official lettering and all the good stuff that you'd expect with a normal shirt for 3 times less the price. The real shirt costs about like 90 quid. These cost 24 quid. Plus also with my discount VZH, you get 10% off. So in actuality, it's £21.60. I could do the math. So of course, go to the top link of the description to go to 365kitshirts.com. And of course, if you guys do spend more than £59, then you get 1 free football shirt as part of your order. And same thing, if you get £99 worth of shirts, then you get 2 free shirts added as well. This has been confirmed yesterday that Budweiser, a main FIFA sponsor for over 30 years, which pays the organization more than $100 million per World Cup, they have been told, as of yesterday, 2 days before the World Cup begins, that they will not be allowed to have any of their product served in or around the stadiums in Qatar. Which is fucking mental, because it's 48 hours before the World Cup starts. Now, I must say this. I replied back to this on Twitter, and people don't seem to understand the point of what is a problem here. I don't drink, really. I'm not bothered about alcohol. If I went to the World Cup, then I really wouldn't care. I don't care about drinking. Even as I'm English, I still don't need alcohol to enjoy the football, because I don't really drink that much personally. That's not my issue here, because people can't seem to wrap it around their head that it's not normal to make a decision like this 2 days before the World Cup starts. They've had 12 years to understand exactly how to distribute alcohol at the World Cup. Everyone knows that alcohol isn't part of the culture in Qatar, isn't part of the culture in these Arabic countries. That's completely fine. Alcohol isn't that big of a deal. People say, oh, it's just an English thing, and you have a point there. But you know what? That's fine. But to change it 2 days before the World Cup starts, and Budweiser, the main sponsor, just finding out, it just shows how ridiculous this all is. As far as I'm aware, there was meant to be designated drinking areas around the ground, that because I guess they don't want spilt beer in the stadiums because it's against their culture, which I don't have a problem with that. That's completely fine. Alcohol is haram and therefore prohibited in Qatar, unless you can afford to pay £19,000 a ticket, in which case it's absolutely fine, because you can get alcohol in Qatar. You can get it inside a stadium, but only if it's a corporate hospitality ticket, where you can go and drink the beer inside the stadium in the boxes. So is alcohol banned because you don't want it inside the stadium for obvious reasons? It's against your culture and against your religion. That's completely fine. But don't also say that alcohol is also allowed if you can pay a lot of money for it. This is a statement that they put out, and as you can see by the date, this was yesterday. It just feels like this should have been really understood months and years before the World Cup starts. But maybe that's just me. And I saw this tweet in response to my initial tweet saying that this was their plan all along. Easy to ask for forgiveness than for permission, which I do think is actually quite a realistic way to look at it. Qatar has entered the what are you going to do, move the World Cup phase of the operation. Because it's too late now. They can do whatever they want. They can change and go back on whatever rules they decided on, because it's gonna happen anyway, so deal with it. Also, another thing, to add on to the story from 2 days ago about the fact that fans were allegedly paid from South Asia to go to Qatar to add some atmosphere to the World Cup, I personally don't believe it. Personally, I maybe to a lower level, but I do believe that fans and people from countries in South Asia, like Pakistan, like India, like all those type of countries, I have reasons to believe that, yeah, they can go and support a country, if it's Argentina or England, and go down to Qatar, because when's the next time there's going to be a World Cup held in this part of the world? Be a couple, maybe 1 or 2 decades at least until next one. So I do feel like some of it is actually true, that maybe just a massive group of Indian, Brazilian fans goes down to Qatar and celebrates probably the last World Cup they may have around them in their lifetime. So I kind of don't blame that. However, there is more information coming out, one here by The Guardian, saying that fans who have travelled to the World Cup as part of the paid for supporters program have been told by Qatari authorities that their cash has been cut. And if you go into the actual report here, the Fan Leader Network is a scheme run by the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy, the Qatari agency responsible for the World Cup. It has recruited supporters from around the globe, offering travel and accommodation and a place at the World Cup opening ceremony in return for enthusiasm and positive social media content. Members of the Fan Leader Network from 2 European countries said that the payments had been cancelled 3 days ago and that authorities had blamed the decision on the bad press which followed the revelation that fans were being paid in the first place. And you can read this entire article yourself on The Guardian if you so wish. And there is one quote at the end which I feel like people may quite enjoy if you are really against Qatar World Cup, and that is by the Football Supporters Europe, saying, "Who would have thought that an authoritarian regime with an appalling workers' rights record was not to be trusted? I suppose that's what you get for accepting to be paid the equivalent of a Qatari monthly minimum wage every 4 days for the pleasure of doing absolutely nothing." Another reason why I'm doing this video is because last night there was a massive news conference in Qatar with the FIFA president Gianni Infantino, which he went in on this press conference, and these are some very important quotes which I feel like you will be quite interested in. So the most popular of his quotes is said here, saying, "Today I feel Qatari, today I feel Arab, today I feel African, today I feel gay, today I feel disabled, today I feel a migrant worker." And then down below says that I know what it feels to be discriminated. I was bullied because I had red hair. Now, I don't know about you, my friend, but being a migrant worker, is it really the same thing for being bullied for the fact you got red hair? Or being gay, for that matter? He pointed fingers at the West for saying that Europe cannot give moral lessons to Qatar based on its actions over the previous 1,000 years. Then also said that there are 1 billion disabled people in the world and nobody cares. Again, I don't really know what the relevance is with disabled people and the World Cup and Qatari regime, but maybe that's just me. He also highlighted that there is hypocrisy and inconsistency when the world focuses on issues in Qatar rather than other nations or groups of people discriminated against. On migrant workers in Qatar, he said that they earn more than he would if they were at all. I think the reason why so many people are focusing on Qatar is mainly because the way that it was given to them in the first place, which has been very heavily documented, which was very much bribed. I think that's the main reason, I'll be honest, and it's all kind of fell off since then. If it's the stadiums, the workers, the laws, the culture differences, there's so many things that you can go into here, really. And I thought I want to highlight just some little things here. I feel like I shouldn't really pay attention to this, but I just want to put it out there that this is out there. So this is some information put on the Daily Mail Online, saying that FIFA are put on alert over integrity of Qatar matches just 40 hours before the kick off the World Cup, as the governing body is warned about an unusual high number of penalties being awarded to the host in behind closed door warm-ups. Qatar played 5 games behind closed doors in the summer and they lost 3-0 to Croatia under 23s. Also, this tweet got out as well, which people are saying that is a false Qatari fake account. That this guy, Amjad Taha, he's got 439,000 followers. You can take that as you will. In terms of his bio, he says that he is the regional head of the British Centre for Middle East, and he does live in England. And in this tweet, apparently he has put out there that Qatar has bribed 8 Ecuadorian players, 7.4 million, to lose their opener 1-0 and a goal in the second half. 5 Qatari and Ecuador insiders confirmed this. We hope it's false. We hope sharing this will affect the outcome. Now, is this true or not? No one knows, because it's gone around the world like wildfire. You can believe this if you want to believe it. But what I do know is that there's no way in hell can that game now end 1-0. Like, if Qatar wins that game 1-0, it's over. It's fucking over. Today is the day before the World Cup. It's fucking freezing. It's -2 degrees here in Poland. I don't know where you're in the world. It could be hot where you're at. Depends where you're at, I guess. It feels weird. I'm still going to want to enjoy the World Cup, because it is the World Cup. It happens once every 4 years. I'm excited for it to a level. Maybe I won't really feel that excitement until that first ball is kicked for England. And I do remember, if it means anything, that for the Russian World Cup, there was quite a lot of press as well. Negative press before the first ball was kicked. And when we look back in the Russian World Cup now, it's got quite a positive memory. I don't think there was too much that really went wrong at the Russian World Cup. So, if you're Qatari, I do understand why people will want to protect this and really defend, this World Cup, because it feels like not just your country or just your culture is being attacked, and I completely get that. There is definitely, fingers to be pointed in their direction. Let's be honest here, it's not exactly perfect, but I do feel like some people do go too far in the other direction. I'm just giving you guys the information that's being put out there. Is the World Cup fixed? Are people actually being paid to go there? Are they going to change even more rules before the World Cup actually starts, now that it's too late to change anything? You guys tell me your thoughts down below. It's a weird one. I just hope that when we look back on this, that we remember it because of the actual football, because that's the entire point of this, and not the controversies that's led behind it. So, tell me your thoughts, and I'll see you guys next time.